We are. What's up?
Woohoo!
Welcome. Another edition of Metalheads Unite. Back on our regular scheduled time.
Yes. Friday at 10.
So
Yes.
Last week we had an interview on Thursday with Matt Caldwell from As We Suffer. Very great interview, actually. The parts I was in on, but
yeah.
But hopefully we figured all that bullshit out. So we'll see.
I think we actually did finally. I think we finally got down to the source of the issue. So fingers crossed. This week goes a lot more smoothly. But yeah, I think you finally figured it out.
And just to let everybody know, I do have a soundboard now, and I'm having
probably a little bit too much fun with it.
Wow. There we go. All right. We're getting professional on this.
We're getting more and more. We're getting more and more legit. We got our own sound effects now.
It only took us 2 years or 2.5.
Yeah, better late than never.
I guess.
Yeah, better late than never.
I know there was a couple of things I wanted to talk about before I got started. Let's see. Pull it up. Actually, getting some more patches done on my battle vest. The guy he just texted me back and told me what time and everything to meet him for the outlet.
Oh, cool. So nice.
I wound up getting 2 that aren't iron on, so I was like, oh shit. So what am I going to do? And so I've already paid for them. We'll see if he'll sell them home for me. So I'm going to have like $150 this damn cut jacket, probably.
Yeah.
Or in the vest.
Yeah, you probably will.
But it is what it is.
Oh, it's going to look good when it's done.
Oh yeah. I mean, hell, I should have just left the back piece and just wore it like that.
That's true.
So yeah, some of this may be a little old. I'm not sure.
No, balls. Did we speak too soon? May have spoke too soon. Oh, I was going to say we may have spoke too soon.
Like, what the hell? Yeah, I'm blaming StreamYard. So
yeah, but yeah, there's a I know where you may have been going with that before you kind of froze up for a second there. But yeah, I got a couple stories that are technically considering that last week the interview was on a Thursday night instead of a Friday. Right. So we were one day earlier and we just did an interview. We didn't do a regular show with a regular format and everything. I actually do have a couple of stories that are technically from last week, but they happened last Thursday anyway, and they're actually pretty significant. So I felt like we needed to talk about them. So
well, these are just kind of shout outs, not really stories. So just
okay.
from stuff that's happened over the last couple of weeks. But this was actually on the 3rd, so this was this week.
Okay.
So Existing in Exile, which is a band that we're familiar with, seen them a couple times. They're actually going to be touring in Japan in October. So that's pretty fucking awesome, dude. Like this is a local band in Tennessee going to freaking Japan.
I saw that. Happy for him.
Hell yeah, that's awesome, dude. I also wanted to give a shout out to Chris Zinzak and his wife Michelle. They celebrated 20 years of marriage this week. So
yeah,
Chris,
I saw that.
You don't know Chris? He's from the Decibel Geek podcast. We've become real good friends with those guys, which I've known Aaron for a long time. So that kind of set up the friendship with Chris there. So yeah, congrats to them. 20 years, big deal, man.
Yeah, congratulations.
What's bad is I'm past that at this point, so it's kind of. I'm like, damn, I've been married that long. Like, yeah. And then I just started following this band because they had an album out this week, but they actually posted 5 days ago. Their drummer Scott Letts and his wife Christy had a baby girl on June 30th. So congrats to those guys.
Oh yeah, nice.
Pretty cool. It's amazing what you can find out when you follow these people on socials. So.
Right. Yeah. A bouncing baby boy.
Yeah, just want to give those shout outs. So.
Yeah, that's very cool.
I think that was it. So, all right. Oh, no, there is one other thing. Let me find it real quick. Shit. And I haven't even talked to you about it yet, so it's kind of you're going to get this as I'm giving it out. So there's a local wrestling show going to be in Hornwall. Make sure that's Hornwall, Tennessee, on the 23rd. I think it is. Yeah, July 23rd. It's a benefit show for a friend of mine that wrestles. It's somebody he knows personally that's battling cancer, and they're doing a benefit for him to help pay for his bills and stuff because he's been out of work. And they got 3 kids, and he's the only one working. Of course, he's got 3 small kids, so he's got he's got stage 4 cancer. So
God damn, man, I hate that.
Yeah, I think it sucks. So I did do a sponsorship for that show. So
nice.
So they're gonna do a shout out and all that good stuff for us on there, and then they can put the funds that I paid for the advertisement toward getting some help. So
honestly, that's a good cause, though. That's a good cause.
And there's also a GoFundMe. You can look up GoFundMe, and his name is Michael Bates. Look that up. It should be on there. So.
Okay.
He's got stomach cancer, so pretty rough stuff.
Yeah. And then stage 4, I really hate to hear that.
Yeah, man, it's definitely sad to hear anybody with stage 4. I mean, that's the worst of the worst. So.
Yep.
But hopefully, we'll get him squared away where he can at least take care of some treatments and maybe get better. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just wanted to throw that out there too. I'll probably be sharing that on our socials when it gets closer to time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'll probably do a video to promote the show to his show with ours. So.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
Especially my headphones. Especially with me being part of the wrestling, and I know most of the guys on the card, so.
That'd be cool if you could, because I know it's on a Sunday, and you work on Sundays, but it'd be kind of cool if you could be involved somehow. I know I'm not talking about like in a match or anything, but it'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I was going to, and then I realized it was on a Sunday, so I told him, I said, well, I want to do something, man. I said, what can I do for you? Asked him about, if they had like a silent auction, I could donate some stuff or whatever. And he said, man, actually, if you could find sponsors for me, that'd be great. And I said, well, I'll tell you what, I'll sponsor you. And he's just like, oh, I didn't know you had a business. I said, well, I mean, it's I don't know if it's business, but
Well,
it's
I mean, kind
it's
of,
all. I mean, you know.
kind of, sort of, technically, yeah.
Well, I mean, I have a and I have bought a domain and everything. So I mean,
Yes, I mean, technically, sure.
it's a business, but beside the point.
Yeah.
I think, and he said, "Well, hell, man, you can sponsor." And he gave me the prices and actually had the extra money this week. And I said, "Cool, man, I'll shoot that over to you." So we got all that
Yeah.
worked out. He's already got it on the flyer and everything, so it's cool.
Nice. Oh yeah, but by the way, congratulations on the new car.
Yeah, yes, yeah, a lot of stuff going on this week. So,
Yeah.
man, uh, anyway, yep, 6 more years of debt now. So,
Yeah. Well, see, but that's the thing though, is I mean, it's kind of a trade-off, because I mean, you didn't have a car payment for a while, but your other vehicle.
I haven't had a car payment in 5 or 6 years.
Yeah. So, which I mean, that is super duper nice not having a car payment. But I mean, you guys' main vehicle had over 300,000 miles on it. You had that other vehicle that you couldn't fucking keep running for one reason or the other. So now you have a vehicle payment, but I mean, you got a warranty now. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
it's brand new. So I mean, it's definitely a trade-off. Of course, you would think you got like 5, 6, 7, 8 years of probably peace of mind of not having to worry about any major repairs, this, that, and the other thing. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a hybrid too, so I haven't even put gas in it yet. So
Oh, see, there you go. Yeah, there
I've
you
been
go.
almost 450 miles already. Still ain't done nothing to put gas in it. So it's pretty wild.
Nice.
Wow, I'm sitting there like used to like going 300 miles and having to look for a gas station.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Looking at that, freaking out, and I'm like, well, shit, no, I still got like a quarter of a tank. I'm good.
Yeah.
It's nice, I tell you. But like I said, it's definitely a blessing to be able to do that at this juncture in time. So,
Well, yeah, absolutely.
and hopefully, when whenever the time comes to pay a payment or whatever, I'm gonna pay a little extra and then try to see what that does for everything too. So the
Oh,
insurance is what got me, man. Like, damn,
that's all.
I jumped. I was like, damn.
That's almost. I swear to God, that's almost a bigger shock than the actual vehicle payment
Oh
itself.
well, yeah. It's almost as well. I got 3 cars on the insurance though, but it's almost as much as the car payments.
Yeah.
But luckily, me and my wife work together. We work in the same place, so we make decent enough money to do that. So we were blessed to be able to do that. So,
Yeah.
we've been, Susie, Susie, my wife, has never owned a brand new car before. So,
Yeah.
so,
I saw that she said that. So.
so, like I had a brand new car when we met, but she never had a brand new car. So, and actually, it was the same situation. I was driving to work, and it kept, the car I was driving kept breaking down. I said, "Fuck this! I'm going to buy a new car." So I went and had my uncle co-sign for me at that time. I got a new car. So,
Yeah.
gonna find out somebody put like a $30 part on the other car and drove it for like 4 years. I was mad as hell about
That
that.
yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds about right.
Whatever,
Yeah, that sounds about right.
it is what it is.
Yep.
Like I said, just blessed and fortunate to be able to do the things we're doing. So,
Yeah.
even with this thing, like I said, a year ago we wouldn't have been able to sponsor, jack shit probably. But,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
being in this position to do that feels pretty good, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just to help somebody else out, that needs it. So, all right. Well, I guess we can go up into these birthdays and
Let's do it.
real quick. So I'm doing 2 weeks here. So from June 25th up until today the 7th.
Mhm.
June 5th, we had Michael Barbario, heavy metal sound engineer, mixer, record producer, studio owner, pretty much a little bit of everything. It didn't really say what bands he had associated with, but I'm guessing it was a lot since it only listed heavy metal.
Probably. Yeah, probably.
So he's probably had his hand in a little bit of everything. We had Rick Browd, record producer for Ted Nugent, Poison, Joan Jett, Wasp, among others. So, like I said, this week's list has got a lot of people that aren't really band members, but had a lot to do with bands. So, which is pretty cool. I don't think those guys get enough credit a lot of times.
They don't.
Then we had Rupe Latvala, guitarist for Children of Bottom. Mike Kruger, I guess it is now, since what Chad said.
Mm-hmm.
Like Freddie said, bassist for Nickelback. The only person in Nickelback that we know is for sure is a heavy metal fan. So,
Yeah.
We had Jim LaMarca, bass guitarist for Chimera. Chris Contos, former drummer for Machine Head. June 26th, we had Tony Corrente, drummer for AC/DC. We had Amin, and yes, I'm not pronouncing their whole name, guitarist for Lordy. I'm going to have enough problems here in a minute. So,
Right.
Jordan Fish, keyboardist for Bring Me the Horizon. June 28th, we had, this one's going to get me, John Notvet, guitarist and vocalist for Dissection. He unfortunately passed away in 2006. Hopefully, I pronounced that right. June 29th, Ian Pace, drummer for Whitesnake and Deep Purple. Don Dokken, of course, vocalist for Dokken.
Nice.
The Caveman Kevin Shirley, music producer and mixer for Journey, Iron Maiden, Europe, Led Zeppelin, and among others. Trip Ison, guitarist for Dope from 97 to 2000, and then Static X from 2000 to 2005. I think he's actually doing some stuff now, which is kind of amazing because I'm pretty sure that guy went to prison for a short period of time.
He did. He did.
June 30th, Yngwie Malmsteen,
Hey.
guitarist and songwriter. If you don't know who that is, then you're under a rock. So.
Yeah, you kind of have been. You don't even necessarily have to be a heavy metal fan to know who Yngwie Malmsteen is.
Right. Yeah. If you don't know, he'll let you know for sure.
He'll definitely tell you. Yeah, he'll tell you.
We joke, Yngwie.
Yeah, we love Yngwie.
You say one thing and you're branded for life. So.
Right. Hell yeah.
Which we'll get into some of that in a little bit too.
Mm-hmm.
June 30th also had one of our favorites, Phil Anselmo, vocalist for Pantera and Down.
Yep.
Dan Jacobs, guitarist for Atreyu. July 1st, we had Roddy Bottom, keyboardist for Faith No More. And Aaliyah, Julia Stanbridge was the real name, vocalist for Trees of Eternity. Unfortunately, she passed away in 2016 of cancer, by the way, which is...
God damn it, yeah.
I don't even think she was 40, man.
Yeah, fuck cancer. God damn it.
July 2nd, we had Wayne Hayner, bassist for Axe. July 3rd, we had Stephen Piercy, vocalist for Rat. Marty Mullins, vocalist for Memphis Mayfire. July 4th, we had Mark Slaughter, vocalist and guitarist for Slaughter. Jack Frost, guitarist for Seven Witches. There's one with John Dempsey, which I don't know why he didn't just put the Jack and the Dempsey together. I mean, seriously, if you think about it, kind of like what the sepsis said, is you get something that's known, and your name pops up underneath those searches. So,
that's true.
We had Jonas Kelgren, guitarist for Star Symmetry. John Waite, vocalist for Bad English. July 5th, which, by the way, to see some of the ages on these people really make me feel old.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
John Waite's like 71 or something. Like, what?
Yeah, John Waite, yeah.
How the hell did that happen?
I know.
That's like yesterday. I was watching on MTV. But
yeah.
Of course, we know how long it's been since the MTV's played music, so that ought to take
how long they've been relevant, yeah.
July 5th, we had Gunnar Thompson, bassist for, and I didn't know this, Toyer is how they pronounced that band. I was like, what? TYR. I don't know if you knew that or not.
No, I always thought it was Tier.
I did too, and I looked it up.
Okay.
I want to make sure I pronounce this right. And I looked at it, and somebody from Sweden had posted on there and said, if you're an American, it's pronounced like toy and ER.
Toyer. Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad I know that.
Yeah, I guess that may be why the little asterisk above the Y.
Maybe.
July 7th, we didn't have anything on the 6th, so we jumped to the 7th. Larry Rhino Reinhardt, a guitarist for Iron Butterfly, of course, he passed away in 2012. Perry Richardson, bassist for Firehouse. Kesa Yoki, vocalist for Battlelore. Sinister Gates, guitarist for Avenged Sevenfold, and Mike Glitta, bassist for Census Fail. And we also had on a birthday this week, yours truly over here.
Yep. Last Saturday was my birthday, and then the day before that, June 30th, Yngwie Malmsteen, Philip Anselmo, and my dad.
Wow, there you go. Good company.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, 45 years ago, I was basically my dad's birthday present.
Wow, yeah, basically that's crazy. But anyway,
So yep.
happy birthday to you, my friend, and everybody
Thank
else out
you.
on this week. So happy birthday to everybody. And if you had one out there listening, happy birthday to you. Hope you had a good one. Hopefully, everybody kept their fingers intact from July 4th. So,
Right.
uh,
Hell yeah, dude.
uh, there we go. So I guess we
Get some good mileage out of that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. Well, all laughing aside, as we get into current events for technically like the past week and a half, because like I say, there were a couple of stories left over from last week that thought we should definitely talk about, some stuff that came out on the 29th, stuff like that. So with that being said, we're going to start off over at the PRP.com. Woven Hand have announced the passing of their drummer, Ordy Garrison. A statement shared on the band's Facebook on July 4th revealed that he passed away as a result of a heart attack. That statement reads as follows, quote, with hearts as heavy as the earth, we regret to inform that Ordy Garrison passed away of a heart attack this morning, July 4th, 2023. There are no words to describe the pain. He was the light of my life, the beating of my heart, my best friend and companion, my world. He leaves behind his beloved wife, Kate, and his beloved son, Carlos. We love you both fiercely. We are heartbroken eternal. These are words, but there are no words. We love you, Ordy, without end. 4 ponies, smiling bear. Not exactly sure what that means, but I'm sure that's definitely something that means something to them, and it's a reference that they understand. But I don't know how old he actually was, but judging by the picture, he looks like he may have been in his 50s. He definitely doesn't look that old. So yeah, that's not exactly how we wanted to start off the show this week, but like I say, like we've said before, we're not the Grammys. We're going to try to make sure that, we pay tribute the best we can to as many people as we can that we hear of. So, it's not just going to be, hey, so-and-so in major band A and major band B passed away. Let's just talk about them. There's all sorts of people in, big bands, little bands, and obviously, like we said before, the quote unquote little bands are kind of our bread and butter here. So, I mean, we definitely don't want to forget about them, especially in the event like this of somebody passing. So,
Exactly. So, all right. Well, mine's not going to be as down as yours is, but this is a little bit of a downer too. So,
yeah.
This year's Download Festival may have been the biggest ever. More than 100,000 people attended the 4-day event, but many fans traveling to the site reported long delays getting to the designated car parks, and now the local council has threatened to cancel the festival altogether if issues aren't addressed. Last week, festival organizers investigation is wrong after some ticket holders reported that it took more than 7 hours to access to Donington Park site, and multiple non-festival goers were also affected. Now, Nick Rushton, leader of the Leicester, I guess that's Leicester City Council, or County Council, Leicester County Council. Okay, that's had enough. Donington are pretty good operators, but they really messed up big time this time. Rustin tells the BBC something's got to change for the next year, otherwise I'll be pressing that the damn thing is canceled. A lawyer who works in Ashby and lives in Melbourne, a normal 10-minute journey, took hundreds of people emailed me from their cars, phoned me from their cars. People trying to get to the airport. 600 people actually missed flights. It was an absolute disaster.
Jesus.
Festival promoter Live Nation have said that the record attendance and the increased number of cars attempting to access the site were the main contributing factors to the delays, as well as issues on the travel routes to the car parks. The festival site is located next to East Midlands Airport. Quote, we recognize that the level of traffic congestion was unprecedented and not acceptable due to the effect it had on our customers, and the local community, end quote, said a spokesman from Live Nation. As organizers of the festival, we have committed to a full review of the traffic management plan and information that was provided to ticket holders relating to the route to designated car parks, end quote. National Highways, which manage the road network, has said plan to be put in again. That was from Metal Hammer, by the way. Um, so, Download Festival is freaking huge. So hopefully we do not get a cancellation of that. That would be a disaster.
Yeah, it would. That would be a major hit if that gets canceled. Yeah, so hopefully they can figure out whatever logistical issues they had going on this year. So,
Or you're going to have Bruce Dickinson up there pissed off.
yes.
He can't do his annual bike ride if he cancels it.
Mm-hmm.
Which is still cool, by the way. I still think that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. All right. Staying over at the PRP for my next one. Unfortunately, we have a report of another passing. Chris LaSala, also known as Chris Legg of Outbreak, The Distance, Fast Break, and more, has passed away at the age of 47. According to his obituary, the death was unexpected. In addition to his creative output in the hardcore scenes, LaSala also tried his hand at YouTube streaming via his Zoo Games channel. And unfortunately, that's really all that it says in the story. I went to his obituary to see if it had anything as far as like the cause of death or anything like that, and there wasn't anything in there. So if we hear anything, we'll update you guys on that. But yep, 47. That's definitely way too early.
Yeah,
so
that's my experience.
Yeah.
Don't talk like it.
Yeah, no, it's definitely way too early. So.
Sorry, I was trying to pull this up on YouTube so I could show it's functioning properly. That's the only way I can have it picture it's functioning. Got to keep an eye on the prize,
Mm-hmm.
All right, my next one is staying with Metal Hammer. I Want to Rock, the 80s Metal Dream, a 3-part documentary series that promises to reveal much about the hair metal scene of the 1980s, will debut on streaming platform Paramount Plus in July. The series will retell the stories of the early years of Skid Row, Winger, Twisted Sister, Vixen, and The Scream. It was made in conjunction with MTV Entertainment Studios in partnership with Gunpowder and Sky, and directed by Tyler Mason, the man behind 2019's I Want My MTV, which told the story of the pioneering music TV network. That was a good 8 years.
Yeah.
Five young dreamers chasing stardom in the cutthroat world of 80s metal, reads the blurb accompanying the show's trailer. Some will succeed, some will fail, but each will make you see an entirely new side of the metal genre. I Want to Rock, the 80s Metal Dream, described as a very kick-ass yet emotional series by Mason, includes interviews with Pete Snyder from Twisted Sister, Winger frontman Kit Winger, Vixen's Janet Gardner, Skid Row founder Dave the Snake Sabo, The Scream, and former Motley Crue frontman John Corabi, and former Guns N' Roses manager Dickie Hamilton. The 3 episodes are I Want to Be Somebody, which focuses on the early days of the band's careers, Headed for a Heartbreak, which tells the story of the struggles faced by the bands, and Smells Like Change, which investigates the rise of the grunge and the damage done to the hair metal scene. I Want to Rock, the 80s Metal Dream, will debut on July 18th in North America and on July 19th in the UK and Australia. So, there you go. There's something else I can watch, I guess, after I get done with The Witchers.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's kind of funny they named them after. I'm guessing like I Want to Be Somebody's going to be the Wasp episode, and then Headed for a Heart will be the Winger episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the Smell Like Change would be, I think that's the Scream, right? Maybe
Smell Like Change be like Nirvana, Smell Like Teen Spirit.
Yeah, well, there you go. That could be it.
Yeah, because if they're talking about the rise of grunge and what it did to hair metal, yeah,
that makes sense.
Well, I will segue off of you, and I will go over to blabbermouth.net. Speaking of something to watch, for movie maker Daniel Hoffman from Germany, thrash metal means being able to escape from everyday life and simply forgetting everything in front of the stage and letting the hell out with the best people in the world. After the great success of his documentary Total Thrash: The Teutonic Story over last year in Germany, it's about time to bring this movie and the history of the Teutonic thrash metal all over the world. It sounded bumpy, hard, and somehow not finished. It should be fast and dark, heavier than any band that existed back then. Nobody could play any instrument at the beginning, you learned that along the way. Concerts were organized, records were exchanged, and the scene continued to develop in Germany. At the end of the 80s, there were first international tours with friends from the USA and other countries. To this day, thrash metal consistently enjoys an international reputation like almost no other genre. Not going to get any arguments from us. The documentary, Total Thrash: The Teutonic Story, delves into the social and cultural world of some young people in the 80s and shows a generation that wanted to break out of the existing structures, be different, and stand out. One found refuge in the hard and fast music and in the role models of the time. But the movie is more than this. It is a breathtaking journey through 40 years of German thrash metal and the growth of bands like Creator, Sodom, and Destruction, all of which are still going strong today. The film shows the development of the thrash metal scene in Germany in relation to bands, organizers, and fans, and offers the viewer a journey through 3 chapters to the present day. The focus is on exclusive insights into a special and extraordinary fan culture that originated in the Ruhr area and still connects people from all over the country and worldwide. After a sold-out world premiere with 1,200 people in the largest cinema in Europe, the Lichtberg Essen, and a total of 35 other cinema dates, most of them sold out, in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland in 2022, and a very successful retail sale over the last months, the movie will now finally get its first and exclusive event in Hollywood, California. On July 30th, a special cinema screening, organized with the help of streaming partner and presenter of the event, Thunderflix, will be held at the Montalban Theater rooftop at 6 p.m. A thrash metal night at the Rainbow Bar and Grill will follow the screening. The film will be shown in German with English subtitles. Hoffman will be part of the evening with a special question and answer session. Other guests are also planned. Tickets are available in 2 categories, a normal screening ticket or the Total Thrash Bundle, which includes a special Teutonic Thrash over Hollywood film shirt and free film logo sticker. Tickets are limited and available at www.themontalban.com. After the LA screening, the movie will be available via streaming the portal Thunderflix on thunderflix.com from August 4th. For more information, visit www.totalthrash.com. So that is definitely something I know the both of us will probably be checking out.
Most definitely.
Yeah. I mean, you had me at Creator, Sodom, and Destruction. That's where you had me.
Yeah, right. Which kind of funny the way you said that. So, creator, and then end with destruction. So
yeah,
create,
I know. I know. I love how it flows from beginning to end. I always like that. The funny thing is, like almost every time it's weird. It seems like almost every time those bands are mentioned in a sentence, it always starts with Creator and ends with Destruction.
Yeah, that's a play on words, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Which is pretty clever. I like it. So.
It is clever, and you have to pay it. You got to pay attention to it too. So yeah, we've picked up on that. It's nice.
Yeah. All right, over at Loudwire, this one's kind of interesting. Less than a month after splitting with Craig Jones, the identity of Slipknot's new mystery keyboardist may have been accidentally revealed in a photo posted by percussionist Michael Tortilla Man Fauf. On June 7th, moments before stepping on stage at a festival, Slipknot issued a statement indicating they had parted ways with Jones, who was a member of the group for 27 years. Shortly after the news had spread, the band deleted the statement, and once their set wrapped up, they posted a professional headshot of the latest addition to the group. Fans quickly began to speculate who the new member is, and those who suggested that former Ghost keyboardist Zach Baird, who has also toured with Korn and collaborated with Evanescence, might have been right all along. Fauf, whose identity wasn't confirmed by the band until 3 years after he joined the band, knows what it's like to try to maintain anonymity. However, it appears he was much better about keeping his own identity a secret than that of his new bandmate. On the Slipknot Reddit page, a photo emerged of Fauf in the band's dressing room, which was first shared on the musician's Instagram story before being removed, obviously. A metal rack where each member's stage clothes were hung, as several signs affixed at the top, each for a respective Slipknot musician. The names read from left to right: Sid, ZA, and the name was cut off. Mick, Faf, and Corey. The other sign between Mick and ZA is obscured entirely. So presumably, since nobody else's name in Slipknot has the letters Z and A next to one another, this sign is there for the new keyboardist. Actually, fans have been eager to link the sign with Zach Baird. Of course, it's entirely possible that the new keyboardist is not Baird and is instead someone else with a ZA name, either first or last. Could this be one big troll move, or Slipknot aware fans think the new member is Baird and this is their way of messing with everyone? That's what I'm guessing. Even if it is Baird, it could be a long time before Slipknot come out and say it. I'm going to guess Craig's still in the band. That's what I'm saying.
That's kind of,
and they're people.
I'm kind of leaning that way too. It's kind of like a wrestling swerve. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
We know Corey's a big wrestling fan. So.
Yeah, so that's kind of I'm kind of in that camp right there, that it's a little bit of a swerve. But
well, I mean obviously that didn't pop up until the social media people started saying the name. So I mean, obviously that's probably their way of just messing with people. And people, we're right, and then
right, yeah. I mean, it could literally be I mean, it could literally be a number of things, but yeah, I mean, I kind of do hope it's a swerve, and like one day he pulls off that new mask and kind of does like a Vince McMahon, like when they revealed the higher power was Vince McMahon.
Oh yeah.
You know, it was me all along. You know, so I mean, yeah. So I kind of hope that's how it goes. I do. I kind of hope that's how it goes.
I'll have a mask under another mask and just keep it going for years.
Oh, see, that would be even better. That'd be even better. Hell yes.
Well, the bad thing is Corey Taylor's been mentioning here lately that Slipknot would go on even without him. So.
Yep. Absolutely.
Shall see.
Yep, we shall see. All right, going back over to the PRP. This one was kind of interesting, and I think this one got posted in the Facebook group. It may have been you, but we're gonna let everybody else hear about it. Incendiary vocalist Brendan Garone has confirmed that he suffered a broken arm amid the band's July 1st show at 1720 in Los Angeles. According to Garone, the injury occurred 4 songs into the band's set. Despite the severity of the injury, he went on to perform another 10 songs with the band before wrapping up the show. He commented on the matter in a since-deleted tweet. Of course, I don't know why he would delete it, but LA, last night I broke my arm during our 4th song. Thanks to everyone for still going off, but also respecting my space so we could finish the set. Extremely frustrating situation, but we are grateful for you all. BG, end quote. And I think, I don't know if it's at the PRP, maybe, but I believe that there's actually a video of the incident, and I think I actually think he got tangled up with a crowd surfer is what happened. But I for some reason I'm wanting to say that I read that somewhere that's how it happened. So, but you know, he was able to finish, and you know, I'm sure he'll be able to kind of, there hasn't been any word on whether or not it's going to like affect any other shows, but I seriously doubt it. You know, he'll get it cast up, and they'll probably make sure that you know, any crowd surfers or anything, he'll probably stand back a little ways, and I'm sure he'll make some adjustments and stay out of the way. So I'm sure he'll be fine.
I'll say you brought that up, but I wonder if anybody's ever dressed up like a shark in the middle of a crowd surfing.
You would think.
That would be pretty funny. So.
Yeah. Probably.
Thank you.
I love that. That was money well spent. I'm telling you.
yeah.
That was money well spent.
It's like a kid getting a new toy out, but anyway, I only have one more here over from Blabbermouth. Then I got a ton of headlines here, but
all right.
This one, last one over. I say Blabbermouth, yeah, Blabbermouth. In a new interview with Canada's The Metal Voice, Voivod drummer Michael Away Langevin spoke about the potential risk and challenges associated with the widespread adoption of artificial intelligence technologies. He said, as transcribed by Blabbermouth.net, technology I always try to use it as much as I can, including for my visuals and all of that. AI videos, I'm jealous because it would take me 3,000 years to do it frame by frame. But what I'm most afraid of, sorry, really is AI controlling high tech weaponry. That's my main fear. And it's funny because in the 70s, as a kid, I saw a movie called Colossus, the Forbin Project, about that and about a giant supercomputer in the USA teaming up with a giant supercomputer in Russia. They take control of the nuclear weapons and enslave humanity. During the Metal Voice chat, Langevin also touched upon the fact that some of the issues people face today are the same issues humanity has been dealing with for much of the last few decades. He said, "Oh man, it's funny because when I recently came back home to Montreal from tour in the smog of the forest, wildfires, of course, because of climate change and all that, it's a recurring nightmare where back in the 80s we talked about the ozone layer and now we talk about global warming, and it's the same with at one point or our Killing Technology album. We were talking about Chernobyl, but all of a sudden it's Fukushima, and now it's Zaporizhzhia in Ukraine. I don't know if I pronounced that right. So it's always the same nightmare, but I can only be a happy fellow and create and do art and music and travel the world before it's too late." He added, "Who knows what's going to happen? You might as well enjoy it right now while you can." So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so the funny thing that he brought that up was I was just watching a movie, the last movie I went to a couple of weeks ago, and one of the previews was actually about that. They're coming out with a movie where an AI accidentally sets off a nuclear weapon. and I was like, okay, so we're still cool with them? I mean, really?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not cool with it. I mean, joke all you want, but I mean, I kind of have a little bit of a, I kind of have a little bit of a back of my mind fear of like something kind of like Skynet. I mean,
Right.
maybe not to that extreme, but
Yeah.
I have because I mean, we as human beings can take anything that in theory is good and screw it up.
Mhm. Well, the bad thing is that like with the way things are now, is your news people aren't going to tell you about those things, and whatever you follow on social media is probably not going to tell you about those things. Um, there's probably certain people out there that'll, I'm not trying to push anything on anybody, but I follow Russell Brand a lot, and he has no ties with anything that goes on here because he's in England, but
Mm-hmm.
he does bring up a lot of great points, and he's not really for or against anything. He's just bringing up points, and
Mm-hmm.
you're kind of drawing your own conclusion to those points, and I think that's very interesting to do because a lot of times I'm hearing him talking, I'm like, dude, that's what's going on, It's
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
you're nailing it, dude. Like you're not even over here, and you're nailing it. So
Yeah.
why can't these motherfuckers over here say it? But
Hey, Dana.
hey, Dana, what's going on, man?
Going on,
Uh,
bud?
but yeah, it's like I said, that that we're making movies and we've seen many movies. Our Robot, and like you brought up the Skynet thing. We
Mm-hmm.
Terminated. We've certainly we've learned something from this bullshit. I mean,
Yeah.
every
So
every
yeah,
everything.
I'm a little apprehensive on getting fully on board with
Yeah,
with AI.
me too. So, but I mean, it's like you gotta things are good in well, they say things are good in doses. You
Small
know,
doses. Yeah.
like, you don't need to go all in with shit because then
Right.
it's catastrophes happen. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
yeah.
That's kind of where I'm at with the whole thing.
So I mean, like I said, AI is good for like he said, doing the video stuff because like he said, it would take him forever to do those things. So I mean, if you can
Mm-hmm.
do those things and put video out or something, that's great. But you got
Yeah.
to limit to what it can and can't do.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
plus, if it's AI generated, that means it's a computer operated, which means it can be hacked. So
That's also true. That's also true. Yeah, and we can't even keep people's credit card information safe 100% of the time now. So I mean, yeah, so we want to fucking, we want to deal with that shit. So all right. So Staying the last three are all from the PRP. They basically dominated the bulk of the news as far as I was concerned this week. So Varials have been forced to cancel their immediate touring plans with Crown the Empire in light of their singer Mitchell Rogers being involved in a van accident on tour last week. A statement issued by the band reads, quote, "Hey everyone, it breaks our hearts to do so, but unfortunately we have to pull from our upcoming shows with Crown the Empire. Mitch was in a very serious van accident last week while heading home from a show on tour and has since been hospitalized with a serious lung condition which requires surgery and bed rest. He is recovering, and we are expecting to resume our touring schedule at incarceration. Thank you for understanding, and we'll see you all soon. Varials," end quote. So I don't know. I'm not exactly sure what the hell happened or what's going on, what's in the water this week, but that's the first of three stories I have about car accidents.
Mhm.
So very, Varials. Then these are the two. These are the two that were technically holdovers from last week. Um, Craig Owens of Drugs and Kyoto's fame has revealed that his crew were involved in a serious van accident on the morning of June 29th. A statement shared on the matter via Owens' social media reads as follows, quote, "To our friends and fans, early this morning around 4 a.m., our crew were involved in a severe accident that led to the van flipping multiple times. Everyone is okay and recovering, but we will not be able to finish the Volume 1 tour at this time. Vans and gear can be replaced, people cannot, and I am just thankful that they are alive. We are looking into rescheduling the dates for the Volume 1 tour, and we encourage ticket holders to hold on to their tickets for the rescheduled dates. Thank you all for your love and support and understanding. Craig Owens," end quote. So, there's a picture of the van over at the PRP for the story if you want to check it out. And then last but certainly not least, this one's a little bit of a longer one because there's an original story and then they have an update. So the original story first. Year of the Knife guitarist bassist Brandon Watkins has commented on the outpouring support he and his bandmates have received in light of the hardcore band's serious van accident earlier this week. Like I say, this was last week, so we're just getting caught up. That crash left his wife, vocalist Maddie Watkins, in critical condition with head and spinal injuries as well as several broken bones. While Brandon himself suffered a concussion in the accident, guitarist Andy and drummer Aaron Kizalewski were listed as both having suffered broken legs and other injuries. The unfortunate incident took place while the band were departing Salt Lake City, Utah as part of their summer tour. An apparent report on the accident in question showed what is thought to be the group's van having crashed into the back of a trailer of a semi-truck. In light of the accident, friends of the band organized this GoFundMe campaign, which has since gone on to raise over $130,000 since being launched on June 29th. Many prominent members of the hardcore and metalcore scene have rallied around the outfit, with the likes of Architects, Vane FM, Hate 56, Counterpart, Spirit Box, Converged, Knock Loose, and many more among the top donors. Speaking this afternoon on the matter, Brandon said on social media, quote, "This is all just so crazy. I can't believe all the love and support we're receiving from you all. I have complete strangers going out of their way to come see me and drop me packages. The world can be a great place. I feel truly blessed. If you need to talk, message me for my number. All I can do is cry. Thank you all from the very bottom of my heart." Now, an update that came across on July 1st is a new update shared by Year of the Knife guitarist bassist Brandon Watkins via their GoFundMe page reveals that the band's vocalist Maddie Watkins' condition has now been downgraded from critical to stable. So that's good. And the GoFundMe fundraiser is currently, as of right now, at $185,988 raised out of a $200,000 goal. They actually bumped up the goal that they were looking for. I think the original goal was like 125 or 150, but they bumped it up because earlier this week there were some reports that came about talking about how Maddie is going to need like further surgeries to allow her to recover and everything. So as of right now, as we speak, that fundraiser is up to almost $186,000 out of a $200,000 goal. So that's pretty amazing that everybody that had to be a semi. Well, hey, it is what it is. There's a shit ton of trucks out there on the road, but it also didn't say who was at fault either. I mean, it says they ran into the back of the truck. So I mean, so who knows? It doesn't say who was at fault, but $186,000 that they are going to be able to use on whether it all goes to Maddie for her recovery or to help with, the band in general, because everyone was hurt in the accident. So thankfully Maddie her condition seems to be improving, which is good, because head and spinal injuries, any head injury obviously is news you don't ever want to hear, because that's literally the hardest thing. That's literally the hardest thing to come back from. So it sounds like slowly but surely she's progressing. So, any other news that comes across on this one, we'll definitely let you guys know. So thankfully everyone's alive. The people involved in the the other stories, the injuries were a lot more minor than what Maddie's going through. So, but thankfully everyone survived, and so everyone is going to be recovering, and definitely keep you guys posted on the progress there. So, while I'm thinking about it, since we're just talking about the fundraiser for Maddie, want to remind everybody that our buddies in Hidden Intent are still having their GoFundMe for their trip over from Australia all the way to Europe for their European tour and their appearance at the Wacken Festival. As of right now, it's a shade over $5,400. They're looking for a $10,000 goal, so it's kind of stalled a little bit, but they are still a little more than halfway there. So if you guys can help out at all with a few dollars, they would greatly appreciate it. And they have earned the right to go over there to Europe. So
for sure.
So we're pulling for them. So we're pulling for Maddie, and we're pulling for Hidden Intent for different reasons. So
we're pulling for a lot of people this week.
Yeah, we are.
Like,
yes, we are.
So that's it. We did our part with some stuff. So,
like I say, every little bit helps. I mean, it doesn't even. Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah.
$5. I mean, if you think that 50 people put in $5. I mean, that's $50. I mean, that's better than nothing. So
yeah. So I mean, like I say, yeah. I mean, a $5 every when it comes to stuff like this, whether it be for Maddie or for Hidden Intent, every little bit helps, literally. So if you can toss $5 or $10 at Adam, it's every little bit helps.
Or if you can get 5,000 people to give them $1, then the Hidden Intent's there. So
exactly, yeah. So I mean, yeah. So we're just trying to get the word out the best we can.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's kind of like one of those things where but I'd rather do this than to go up to some counter and them switch the little thing around to me and it says tip and you didn't do nothing.
Yeah.
It's like, no.
Yeah.
And then you get mad when you don't leave them. What the fuck you do? You handed me a damn drain.
Right.
Like I'm leaving the store. You're not even refilling or anything.
Right. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, I know. It's the expecting a tip for everything nowadays. It's getting a little out of hand, but
Yeah. I mean, it's I get it in some spots, but some things it's a little bit monotonous. So.
Yeah. And I mean, I consider myself a pretty good tipper. I mean, I usually leave 25% as a minimum, if the service is good, and then I kind of increase it or decrease it from there. But I mean, yeah, if you're going into a store and that these people are making $12, $13, $14, $15 an hour, they're not making like $2.13 like these servers are. If you're making $12 to $15 an hour and then you expect a tip on top of that, I'm not really on board with that. You're already making a relatively decent amount of money per hour. So
I guess the one that like really puzzles me is the coffee shops. It's like, I'm tipping you. Your job is to make coffee. Like,
right.
Why am I tipping you to do your fucking job?
Yeah, and I know from experience, because Kayla used to work at Starbucks. They make some pretty decent money per hour.
Right.
So they're not doing too bad.
Which don't get me wrong, if I'm paying with cash and they hand me some change, I'll throw it in the bucket or whatever because I don't want to carry around a bunch of change. So I understand that, but I'm not going to throw you $5 in a thing just for handing me a coffee. Right. It's already overpriced.
I don't know if you saw, but Dana just sent us both a message on Facebook. It said, Atheist is on tour with Cynic. Last week, Atheist tour bus broke down on the way to Cleveland. The band was forced to take a Greyhound bus. Oh, man. That sucks.
Well, I mean, at least they were able to make options. I mean,
That's true. That's true.
one just out there. I mean,
Yep.
wow. Yeah, but still.
That's true. I mean, being forced to take a Greyhound and forced and having to go to Cleveland. I mean, that's just insult to injury right there.
Uh,
I'm just kidding. At least it wasn't Columbus.
Go Brown.
At least it wasn't Columbus.
uh, yeah. All right. Was that
I
all?
am. Yep. I am done. That's my current events.
All right. So I got some other headlines here. Actually, unfortunately, there's a death involved in this one too. So I'll get to that in just a second. But the top one that I had was Gary Holt on the upcoming Exodus album said it's the most brutal, crushing thing ever. Um, Coming from Gary Holt, that's hopefully that's a good thing. I mean, you're talking about somebody that's been in Slayer and Exodus, so, uh, so
Yeah,
most,
and if
most
this is
ever,
yeah, if this is the most brutal, I mean, if you're just talking Exodus,
right. I
just
mean,
talking about Exodus, I mean, good Lord.
yeah.
So
Well,
yeah, consider me interested.
talking to Jack, we kind of know how the writing goes. I mean, Gary
Yep.
and them going to the cabin in the woods kind of thing, and
Yep.
he's just like, I've realized I was just in the way. Just call me when you get the shit together.
That was funny when he said that.
He's like, I'm just sitting here holding my coffee mug on. What am I supposed to be fucking doing?
Right.
Like Will Ferrell with there. What am I supposed to do with my hands?
Yeah. Yeah, and he's a bass player. He's like, I don't know. Yeah, what if I'm not playing bass? What am I supposed to do with my hands?
Then Corey Taylor on Stone Sour's hiatus says, I refuse to compromise my vision and my art because of certain people's hindrances.
Yeah, that sounds like it's getting a little contentious.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if that's what's happening, then I agree with Corey. I mean, why should he put his vision on hold because of somebody else being a fucking crybaby? So, yeah. And obviously it's somebody with original member or founder because you can't kick them out, So
Right.
so that you can kind of narrow that down, I think.
Yeah, you probably could.
Then Sodom, Queensryche, Candlemass, and more have been booked for Hell's Heroes 4 Festival. Once they get that lineup, I'll be able to get that out to you guys. That's all they've gotten so far. So this one was kind of funny, and then I'll mention something after this too because it reminded me. Nita Strauss on Online Trolls said they'll never come to you to your face and say you suck.
Just say it to my face, Nita.
Yeah. And by the way, congratulations to her. She just got engaged on her album release party.
Yes, she did.
Yesterday or today. I think it was last night, actually.
I think it was last night. Yeah, because I saw the story today. So yeah, congratulations to her. And hey, and as far as we're concerned, Nita, just keep doing what you're doing. You're doing just fine.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Cat Williams says, the better you do, the more haters you're gonna get. So it's kind of
right.
Yeah. So let the haters come out of the woodwork because as far as your guitar work goes, they're just jealous. So don't even worry about it.
I'll fucking give them the damn Tropic Thunder therapy on here. Like, you can't do what I do.
Yeah. That's right. Such a good movie. God, such a good movie.
Yeah. I don't even know if they can get away with making that one just because of the blackface things.
Yeah, they probably couldn't.
Not even Jamie Foxx said that was hilarious. So
yeah.
Anyway, Zach Wilde thinks Dimebag and Vinnie Paul would definitely be loving the fan reaction to the Pantera shows, which I'm pretty sure they would.
I do too.
And any Riding Christ fans out there, they are working on a new album.
Their 15th.
Right. They're not writing anytime soon. And then this is the one I was going to talk about. The Cavalera brothers, Max and Igor. Obviously, their mother passed away this week as well. So
yeah.
It wasn't really much of the story. It just kind of said that. And,
right. Yeah, I read the story. Yeah, I saw that.
Kind of went through the story of how, their father passed away when they were young. So I think he was in his 40s when he passed away. So.
Yeah. Yeah, their mom was 80. So
yeah, so she went 40 years without her husband. So that's crazy.
Yeah, that's rough for her. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Then Rat Stephen Piercy said, this kind of goes back to one of the other stories. Rat Stephen Piercy says grunge didn't kill hair metal. Countless mini Motley Crues and mini Rats did. So, and I think we've kind of touched on that before, saying that a lot of those bands that were coming out just weren't different. You know what I mean? It was just a
well, see, that's
look.
Well, see, that was actually one of the things that they touched on towards the start of Drew's Bang Tango documentary. You know,
Exactly.
talking about how there were over 400 bands signed to labels. I mean, the market was fucking flooded, and
was just glam type metal bands too. It wasn't no. It wasn't like saying 400 bands and they got 17 genres in there. No, it was just 400 fucking bands that were doing the same thing. So.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's really no wonder that a lot of them weren't able to, to make it, because it's really hard to stand out in a crowd like that, especially back then when you didn't have the surplus of media outlets like you do now. I mean, you literally had to fight for airplay. There just wasn't enough to be had.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you look at Ricky Rackman was talking about Bang Tango. He was just like, well, they're just like all the other bands on Sunset Strip, but then he realized they weren't. So
he was. I'll give it to him. I was. Of course, I shouldn't have been surprised, but at the same time, I kind of was. I mean, because he was candid. He's like, I didn't like them at all at first, and then they came to the Cat House and played. It's like, okay, I was wrong, and I changed my mind. So he, So he was honest and he admitted that he was wrong. So there you go. Like I say, I shouldn't be surprised that Ricky said that. I mean, shouldn't be surprised at all. But
and then Dark Angels Gene Hoglan teases exciting news that it's coming soon regarding their new album. So maybe getting something later this year, early next year, maybe it seems like. So.
Yep. And I saw something earlier today that oh God, I just went blank. The fucking bass player for Anthrax, Frank Bello. I completely went blank for a second. Said that he is hoping that the new Anthrax album comes out next year. So
yeah, I think they'll have it out at some point.
Yeah, 24 is going to be bonkers, man.
Zach Wilde, Marty Friedman, and Mike Portnoy confirmed for the Rock and Roll Fantasy Camps Metal Mania 3.
Jesus.
So man, if you ain't that's some talent right there, man.
God, you're not.
Man, why not with a side project?
No shit. Well, I guarantee you, Mike Portnoy's already in. He's like, whatever it is, I'm in. I'm in. I'm in.
He's like, sign me up. Is Ripper going to be there?
He's like, I'm in. Yeah, get him on the horn. He's in. I guarantee you, he's in too. So,
Max Cavalier there.
You got options for singers. You absolutely do.
Yeah, you definitely do, man. Those guys are in on numerous projects. So.
Mm-hmm.
D. Snyder says his new horror movie, My Enemy's Enemy, is going to change the game again. It's very disturbing. So, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
I like Strangeland. It was a good movie. So for the time it came out. So.
Right.
Down with the fitness, not sickness, because he had disturbs. David Raymond's lost 34 pounds in the last 6 months. So.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah, he's looking pretty good. He's looking like 2000s disturbed, man.
Yeah.
He may be able to run around a little bit.
He might.
He couldn't do that with that turkey neck.
Nope.
Which I ain't ever talk about. I'm actually losing weight too, so I can't say.
Yeah.
Mick Mars doesn't want to talk to his Motley Crue bandmates ever again, and I think all of us would be okay with that. So.
Yeah, it is. But it's sad that it's gotten to that point, though.
Well, I mean, he was saying that they weren't even talking to each other on the stadium tour. So, I mean, it seems like this may have been some long time coming. Well,
yeah,
they may have been talking to each other, but they sure weren't talking to him. But
right, and I just think that's all.
Which, if you go back and think about it, man, Mick's kind of the only one that didn't really have a lot of fucking shit surrounding him.
Nope, never did.
During Motley Crue, Nicky died twice. Tommy's got about 20 fucking ex-wives, and Vince is alcohol and drugs, and his daughter died and snapped him out of the shit. But I mean, that's sad that had to happen to snap him out.
So,
4-year-old girl, that's not good. Man. So,
yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for the fact that Mick's got his health issues, we probably wouldn't have never heard anything about him.
Probably not.
I mean, and truth be told, that's kind of in a good way, So
Well, I mean, even if you watch the movie The Dirt, they kind of set him off as a kind of a loner. He never really kind of did much with the band. He was kind of did his own thing, and did his job, did his thing. I mean, that's kind of what you do. You do your job, you go home. Like, fuck.
Well, see, that's the thing. I mean, he was smart to do that.
Well, yeah, because you don't want to mix. Sometimes you don't want to mix business with pleasure.
Yeah. Well, especially back then in the '80s, the fucking decade of excess. So I mean,
sniffing crack, sniffing cocaine off a girl's ass and shit.
Yeah, or ants off a pool deck.
Yeah, or going down on a girl until she squirts.
Yeah, the way that movie opened. Yeah.
Which I don't know if that actually happened or not. But
who knows?
Probably. Queensryche's Todd LaTorre reflects on his stand-up comedy debut. Said he was terrified. This just goes to show you that when you're out of your element, I don't care how many people are there. Like this guy's played in front of thousands and thousands of people on stage as Queensryche's frontman.
Yeah,
he probably went into a comedy club with 50 people and got nervous.
Yeah,
because you're out of your element. Like I've did this. I've wrestled in front of thousands of people, and then I went and did like I guess I did some seminar kind of things with some kids and stuff before, and it was nerve-wracking, dude. I'm just like, God, I'm wrestling in front of all these people, and I can't even get out in front of a bunch of damn kids. It's like, what the hell's wrong with me?
Yeah, see, it's weird. Yeah, well, yeah, because it's weird. Because I mean, like we do this every week, and there's God knows how many people are watching us. But I mean, it's just because I mean, I can see you and you can see me, even though I know in the back of my mind there are people watching this. If I was to get up in front of a group of people, I would be fucking. I can't public speak. I can't. Yeah. I can't do it. I can't public speak.
I can do it, but so this is the weird thing with me. I can't plan for it. If that makes any sense. Like if you tell me, say, hey man, can you come in 2 weeks and do this thing? And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna worry about that shit for 2 weeks.
Oh yeah.
Come and pick me up and take me to the thing. Say, hey man, I need you to speak in front of these kids. All right, whatever, let's do it.
Yeah.
Spontaneously, I'm good, but
yeah, I get so ridiculously uncomfortable in my own skin when I'm talking in front of people.
I don't have time to think about it. That's the thing. It's like when you don't have time to think about it, it's easier to me.
That's probably true.
When I have time to think about it, I'm like, damn, what if I fuck up?
Mm-hmm.
What if I stupid? What if I don't get across? What if they come up and tell me I suck? I was like, if I just go out there spontaneous, I'm just going out there doing my thing, like drop the mic, fuck them, I'm out.
Just riffing.
Yeah, just riffing.
Just riffing.
Asking Alexandria's Ben Bruce says new metal was one of the best eras of metal music. All right, hold your thoughts there.
No, I know where you're going with this.
And then In Flames, Anders Frieden says Alice in Chains Dirt is probably the best album ever. So
I don't know. I don't know about all that, but
I had this argument, and I think it was on a Sepsis post. When you include best, well, actually, Sepsis replied to Blabbermouth, and then I said something. But when you include the word best, when anything you say, it's automatically opinionated.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no best. There's always something better in somebody else's mind.
Mm-hmm.
Allison Chains the best to him. Yes, that don't make him wrong because it's his opinion.
Right. I disagree with that, but I mean, I'm not going to shit on his opinion. But
and that's kind of what I said. New metal is not the best genre to me, but we needed new metal at that time. We needed new metal to break a mode, bring on something new, bring on something different. Exactly. We had bands like Slipknot and Korn, and all these bands that come out with, and they sounded different, and it created a different genre of metal.
Yep.
Like, is it the best? No. Did we need it? Oh, definitely.
Well, and the funny thing is like on the very tail end of what the dude from Asking Alexandria said, Paulo Gregoletto from Trivium, that said that new metal was a very, very bad genre. So as I say, it all depends on your perspective. It all depends on your perspective. Yeah, it all depends on your perspective.
But the thing is you got people trolling on here, shitting on all of it. You're fucking stupid. And I'm like, no, he's not stupid. That's what he thinks. That's his opinion. Like, your opinion is fucking stupid to him. So, why waste your breath and time trying to be some hot shot on social media?
Yeah. I mean, worry about going and finding a group that you can be a part of that shares your views. But a lot of people waste so much time just having to be a fucking contrarian just for the sake of being a contrarian and being a dissenting voice.
Right.
I see, during the week when we're doing the research for this show, between the two of us, there's no telling how many news stories we see, aside from the ones that we report on the show. But if I see a headline, I'll see a headline and I'll see something to be like, well, I don't agree with that. What I do? I scroll on, because if I disagree with the headline, I don't really give a shit what the story says,
Right.
so, I,
Well, so that may be where we're different, because if I see that, I'm always like, okay, challenge accepted, change my mind.
well,
And then I'll read it, and if it doesn't change my mind, then I'm like, it ain't worth fucking with.
well, sometimes I'll do that, but I mean, as far as like doing research for the story, I really don't have a whole lot of time you know, to just sit around and read articles. So, I mean, headlines are usually what grab me and make me want to, talk about stuff on the air. But I mean, whether it's for the show here, or whether it's, my sports, whether it's, it has to do with the NHL or college football or whatever, I'm going to follow, I'm going to read stories about Michigan. I'm going to read stories about, the Red Wings. I don't really keep up with other teams, so I don't really waste my time, even though I live here in Tennessee, I don't really waste my time reading too many stories about the Predators and the Titans and the Vols and stuff, like, because I'm not fans of those teams. And it may be the same for you, as far as the Cowboys and Notre Dame. You're not going to read a whole lot of articles about the Wolverines because you're a Notre Dame fan, and that just makes total sense. I mean, unless our two teams are playing, so I mean.
And then I want to know if you pick up the best tight end in the nation. So,
right.
But if we're not playing that year, I don't give a shit what you got.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it all depends. For me, it all depends on the direct relevance to me. And, if it doesn't, like I say, if I don't definitely if I don't like something, I'm just going to move on. But if I disagree with it, like I say, if I will more often than not just scroll on, because Blabbermouth is like I love Blabbermouth as a source.
They are very opinionated.
I love Blabbermouth as a source. I hate Blabbermouth. I hate Blabbermouth for all the commenters. I really do, because it's nothing but shit, negative, shit, negative. It's like, good God.
Because they do like throwing that best word around a lot.
Well, that's true.
Which it could have been. I could have been an asshole and been like, "Oh, new metal was one of the best best eras of metal ever."
Just shooting all sorts of holes in your opinion there. So, I mean,
Actually, I got let me see if I just favorited this yesterday. Let's see.
What you looking for?
I had a list of things that I was going to do here. I don't know what happened to it. That's what I saved.
Dana just asked us, what are our top 5 metal genres?
Well, me is different than yours, of course, because I'm thrash and metalcore, and I like new metal.
Well, I mean, thrash is definitely my favorite. Yeah. So thrash is, I would say, man, if you're making me rank them 1 through 5, thrash is obviously 1. I would probably say power metal is 2. Oof. Probably, probably traditional heavy metal would probably be 3. I could probably switch 2, and I could probably switch those 2. Then probably new metal, then metalcore.
Well,
Of course, I could change those 2 around too. So, I mean, those are in my top 5. Aside from thrash is what I would rather listen to than anything. But those other 4 genres would be in my top 5. The order is probably a little more fluid, but Thrash, speed, power, hair, metalcore. There you go. I mean, that's not bad either. And that's
Yeah.
the funny thing is, there are speed metal bands that I like. Obviously there are hair metal bands that we like. So I mean, and we've talked about it on the show before. We're not much for death metal, but there are still bands that we will listen to. So saying that we're not huge fans of one subgenre or the other, we don't discount any subgenre at all.
Well, no, I mean, just because we don't gravitate to it doesn't mean that we don't listen to it at all. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I've even said on here I'm not a big death metal fan, but there are some death metal songs that I will listen to.
Same.
Not not saying like honestly. I think the biggest thing for me with death metal is the drumming has the ones that sound like they're like beating on a damn coffee can is the one that gets me. I don't like that. If it doesn't have that in it, I can deal with it. But I think that's like my pet peeve with a lot of death metals. They're like,
I get that.
it's kind of like, to me, it's aggravating because it's like a fucking aggravating, like nails on a chalkboard shit that most people.
I get it.
Yeah. As soon as I hear that shit, like you ever come out with some screeching ass guitars and stuff, I'm like, oh man, I'm like, can get into this, and it's like, tink, tink, tink. I'm like, you motherfucker.
I get it.
Gets me every time. Right. I'm not going to share this on. I'm just going to talk about that. So we are halfway through the year. So Metal Sucks has had their best albums of 2023 so far. Of course, I'm guarantee you we're not going to agree with it. I haven't even looked at it just to be fair. So
no, probably not.
I kind of wanted to be, kind of on board with you, kind of both of us seeing it at the same time. But
yeah, I'm gonna pull up my list real quick of the albums that I have listened to so far this year and see if any of them are on the list.
Okay.
Because I bet you this. Like I say, this is just my list. My list is obviously different from yours because we do different weekly reviews. But I almost guarantee you, none of my albums are going to be on this list. Well, I take that back. There may be one or two. I take that back. There may be one or two, but
so the first one they had listed here was Bandit. Sorry, Siege of Self. This is their first album. East Coast trio Bandit expand their horizons, mixing in elements of death metal and metallic hardcore into their sound. If Pig Destroyer with more breakdowns and mastered by Colin Marston sounds appealing, then Siege of Self is the record for you.
Haven't heard it.
Haven't either. So this is kind of all the people that work there putting in their favorite, I think. This guy says Immortal War Against All, with a refined production process and improvements on both vocals and songwriting. Immortal returns with a record that more aptly reflects the talents of Demonaz. While Demonaz's earlier attempts weren't bad, War Against All truly sounds like an Immortal record, which I've never been an Immortal fan. So.
Yeah, I haven't heard that one either.
Next one was Vengeful Spectre, a self-titled album. And it's got some Japanese letter in there, so I'm guessing or Chinese, actually. If you've been following the Chinese black metal scene during the past year, Vengeful Spectre's self-titled debut album from 2020 was likely in your rotation and quite possibly made your best of list. The Chantu Guangdong-based band, featuring Frozen Moon vocalist Fan Bo, represent an era of seamlessly blending traditional Chinese folk elements with instruments like a pepa. Is that it? Pipa or pepa? I can't remember how they.
I don't know.
And Swana, with harsh through crystal clear produced black metal, which I'm not real huge on black metal either, but there are some that I will listen to. Black metal. Like I said, not huge on it, but I will listen to some of the bands. Their second record, the second part of a trilogy, keeps the musical elements from the first while also introducing artwork by the soon-to-be legendary Wang Yang. Who sets the mood before even pressing the play button. Tracks like Stormy and Insurrection of War excuse me, offer innovation present in modern-day Chinese black metal, which could become a trend in the scene if the rest of the world were to be in. if that risks tainting the sound, though, maybe some bands like Vengeful Spectre should stay rather obscure. I'm not familiar with that band, so. The next one here was Venomous Concept, The Good Ship Lollipop. I don't even sound like a metal album.
Well, I can't. There's been some that I didn't think were going to be metal that were good. So yeah, we've talked about it before. Don't let the name fool you.
That's true. This one says, change is afoot in all corners of this release. The biggest step has been the band making the move from candy corn blast of grind to a more canterous and resonant post-punk hardcore punk rock outfit that now has a flawless album in its back pocket. There are 13 tracks in total here and not a single bit of filler on any of them. The Good Ship Lollipop may be a drastic about face away from expectation based on the past, but the way it's sweeping agglomeration of elements excuse me, have been lassoed and genuinely presented strands as a brilliant redefinition of the many shades of punk rock and its family tree. So, like again, we're not really big fans of punk rock, so
no.
I'm guarantee I've probably not heard of any of the albums in this book.
I'm 0 for so far.
Yeah, me too. So, Dodd Heimsgard, The Black Medium Current, is a masterpiece that puts other masterpieces to shame. This is a work of profundity, radical innovation, sophistication, and utter genius. I was delighted that Vikotnik, DHG's co-founder and driving force, handled vocals himself on this album. In my humble opinion, Vikotnik's artistry is simply unmatched in black metal. The self-proclaimed supervillain outcast conquers every time. I'm guessing none of these guys big fans of anything other than death metal and black metal. Creeping Death, Boundless Domain, releasing just in time to get in during the first half of the year. Creeping Death did not disappoint with their latest album, Boundless Domain. While many old school death metal bands fall into a rut after a few records, these guys prove they can keep up with the stamina and avoid falling into familiar patterns. They nail the sound of a more mature, well-rounded death metal band on this record. Yeah. Sermon of Golden Verse. As I get older every year, I tell myself this year I'm finally going to understand Opeth's post-Watershed era. Although that has not happened yet, this new Sermon album makes me feel like I'm getting closer because I can't stop listening to it. And every song captures my focus, and that for a new album is a great achievement. This was kind of funny. King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. Petro Dragonic Apocalypse. Whenever a new King Giz album or 3 come out, it's always an exciting moment. So when I learned these Australian comedians of sound were returning to their take on thrash metal, I gotta admit I was stoked. Last time they took on thrash for Infest the Rat's Nest, it was a hell of a time, and Petro Dragonic Apocalypse or Dawn of the Eternal Light and Annihilation of Planet Earth and keep going in there, fucking me up. The boundless, merciless damnation is another banger in that style. While the singles Gila Monster and Dragon were great, it wasn't until I listened to the entire entry that I was able to appreciate its tale of humanity's mistreatment of the planet. But there's dragons and witches and shit, because of course there is. It's a hell of a ride that you'll want to take over and over again. Which that album wasn't that bad. I actually listened to it.
Yeah, I've heard of them, but I've never heard any of their stuff. So
that was the list that they had.
Okay, well, I haven't heard any of those albums, and at least I've heard of at least one of those bands. So I mean, I don't feel so bad, but yeah, I wasn't wrong. I thought maybe they would have thrown the Overkill in there, but
yeah, somebody posted nothing better to do, huh?
Right.
Oh my god, these comments are funny. And a lot of people's chiming in with their favorites, which is cool.
That's fine.
But I mean, these guys run the magazine, so they can do what they want. So.
Well, yeah, of course they can. Yeah, totally fine.
I was kind of curious on what they had, so that's why I wanted to look at it. But yeah, definitely not to agree with any of that. So. All right. Well, with that, I guess we will go over to our theme of the week. Oh, my microphone's done fell down here. What happened to it? Sorry.
No, you're good.
Wouldn't be us if something didn't malfunction, right?
Right. People need to start like a pool of like, okay, well, during what segment are they going to have technical issues or something?
Yeah. Put it on Vegas's list or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, it definitely just crapped out on me. Like, what the hell? I don't know what it did.
Well, did you want to do hit in the row before we did the theme of the week?
Oh yeah, I'm so sorry. Yeah, go ahead. I actually didn't have anything. That's why I was.
All right. Well, I'll go ahead and take over here. I just had a little. It was actually surprisingly kind of light this week.
Yeah, I didn't see a lot. That's why I didn't do.
Yeah, I didn't do 2 weeks worth because, like I say, last week we just focused on the interview. So I just have from the 30th through today. I have a little over 2 pages, but I would probably have less than that if it wasn't for the fact I was using some snippets. So, starting off as always over at the PRP.com, we have Dayseeker, Silent Planet, and Moxie the Band going out this fall, starting September 1st in Lubbock, Texas at Jake's, finishing September 24th in Los Angeles at the Fonda Theater. There's no Nashville date, but they will be in Memphis, Tennessee at the Black Lodge on September 3rd. Then we have Kavelertak and Cancer Bats going to Europe starting October 10th in Helsinki, Finland at Kultuuritalo, I think that's how you say that, finishing November 1st in Antwerp in Belgium at Trix. Deicide is going to Europe and the UK this summer, starting August 2nd in Bergen, Norway at Beyond the Gates, finishing August 18th in St. Nolf, France at Motoculture. Convictions, Confessions of a Traitor, Bloodlines, and Cultist going out starting August 4th in Fremont, Ohio at the Strand, finishing August 24th in Denver, Colorado at the Roxy. There's no Nashville date, but they will be in Chattanooga at Dark Roast on August 6th. Within Destruction has been forced to back out of the North American tour with Wage War 0936 and Avoid due to visa issues. Ne Obliviscaris, The Ocean, and Rivers of Nile are going to Australia. There are 4 dates starting September 6th in Brisbane at the Tivoli, September 8th in Sydney at Manning Bar, September 9th in Melbourne at the Forum, and September 10th in Adelaide at the Gov. War of Ages has announced a few dates for this summer. Those dates are August 4th in Hartford, Connecticut at Webster Underground featuring Project 86, August 5th in Topsfield, Massachusetts at Soulfest, September 15th in Erie, PA at Basement Transmissions featuring Convictions, September 16th in Shippensburg, Pennsylvania at the Uprise Festival, and September 17th in Dayton, Ohio at Lifehouse Church featuring Convictions and Disciple. Lorna Shore, Rivers of Nile, Ingested and Distant are going to Europe and to the UK starting November 5th in Den Bosch, Netherlands at the Rock Circus, finishing December 8th in Oberhausen, Germany at the Turbinenhalle. Behemoth, Twin Temple, Midnight, and Imperial Triumphant are going on a tour of the United States starting August 28th in Albuquerque, New Mexico at the Rever Entertainment Center, finishing September 17th in Chicago, Illinois at the Byline Bank Aragon Ballroom. No Nashville date for that tour. Will Haven have announced a quintet of UK and France dates for the fall. October 17th in Glasgow at Stereo. October 18th in Manchester and at Rebellion. October 19th in London at the Underworld. October 20th in Bethune, France at Le Hochet. And October 21st in Beauvais, France at L'Empriente de Savigny-le-Temple. I don't know if I said that right or not. My French is not very good. Venom Incorporated, Satan, Ringworm, and 72 Legions are going out this fall starting September 27th in New York at the Meadows, finishing October 15th in Boston, Massachusetts at Brighton Music Hall. No Nashville date there. Devin Townsend is going to Australia for 4 dates in November. November 8th in Perth at Magnet House. November 10th in Melbourne at the Forum. November 11th in Sydney at the Metro. And November 12th in Brisbane at the Tivoli. World Alive, Dark Divine. Actually, I'm sorry. World Alive is going out on tour with Under Oath, The Ghost Inside, and We Came as Romans, starting August 14th in Albuquerque at Revel, finishing August 19th in Santa Ana, California at Observatory Festival Grounds. Then they will be with Dark Divine, and Nerve starting August 20th in Tucson, Arizona at The Rock. No, not that Rock. Finishing September 3rd in Colorado Springs at Black Sheep. They will be in Nashville on August 25th at The End. Then we have Flagman is going on an East Coast tour starting August 9th in Atlanta, Georgia at 529, finishing August 31st in Orlando, Florida at Will's Pub featuring Polka Dot Cadaver. No Nashville date there. Cold, State of Illusion, and University Drive are going out on another leg of their 20th anniversary tour for Year of the Spider. Starting September 5th in Fort Myers, Florida at the Ranch Concert Hall and Saloon, finishing September 16th in Plains, Pennsylvania at River Street Jazz Cafe, of all places. No Nashville date there. Monuments have been added as direct support for Ginger on their fall North American tour. And then a couple over at blabbermouth.net. Lynch Mob is going out this summer and fall, the United States, starting July 14th. So, next Friday. That'll kick off in Harrison, Ohio at the Blue Note, finishing September 30th in Hallam, Pennsylvania at the Tourist Inn. No Nashville date. And Gary Holt is going to be going on a West Coast Guitar Clinic tour in July, starting July 17th at Pitbull Audio in National City, California. July 18th at the iHomie OC in Tustin, California. Then July 19th at the Bakersfield Sound Company in Bakersfield, California. July 20th at Gelb Music in Redwood City, California. July 26th at Five Star Guitar in Beaverton, Oregon. And July 27th at Diablo Guitars in Renton, Washington. So check that out. That is hitting the road for the 30th of June to today, July 7th.
Awesome!
All right, now we can get into our theme of the week here.
Yep.
Keeping our theme of record labels here this week, as we're going to talk about our favorites from the Metal Blade record label.
Mm-hmm.
So I did find out that Napalm bought some of their stuff, bought some of those bands out, like their library. They bought their library out from.
Oh, okay.
From Metal Blade. So only reason because Metal Blade has some of their listings there and the actual album that they did from that band on there. So
gotcha. Okay.
So because I was kind of confused when I couldn't find Cold Chamber when I was looking through, and I was like, I didn't see anything Metal Blade on Cold Chamber stuff, but then I seen one where Devil Driver, and it said that Winter Kills was originally done by Metal Blade and then bought out by Napalm. So it's
okay. All right. I got you.
That makes sense then. So
that does make sense. Okay.
I'm sure the Cold Chamber record was the same way because they did have a Napalm listing on their stuff. So
okay, gotcha.
So I'm guessing that was originally Metal Blade.
Right. Okay.
But anyway, I'll kick it off here. I only got 12 this week, so
well, I had 14, so that's not too bad.
Yeah, not too long. I mean, like I try to stay close to 30. So I mean, we got close to 30.
Yeah.
I kicked it off with Whitechapel, Hickory Creek from the Valley.
I knew that. Yep. I didn't even bother. I was like, no, there's no fucking way he won't.
Well, there's a few on there that I was like, oh, I want to do this one. I'm like, nah, Chris is gonna have these. Not the songs, I don't know, but I know you'll have the bands.
Yeah.
But and then I went with Armored Saint, End of the Attention Span from Punching the Sky 2020. And then I went with The Crown, Motor Death from the Royal Destroyer in 2021.
Nice.
And then I went with Exhumer, Hostile Defiance from that same title album in 2019. Then I went with Portrait, Phantom Fathomer at One with None from 2021, which I actually reviewed that album in 2021, which is cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Then I went with Sacred Reich, The American Way from the American Way album 1990. So I was able to go back a little ways on some of these. So I was
Yeah.
trying to. I didn't want to like keep, you like up to date relevant. I wanted to kind
Right.
of get, but unfortunately, there wasn't a lot I could do about it. But
Well, that's true.
but then I went with Violence, Flesh from Bone from Let the World Burn EP in 2022.
So good.
That was a great EP. Then I went with As I Lay Dying, Nothing Left from an Ocean Between Us from 2007. And then I went with Devil Driver, Desperate Times from Winter Kills 2013. And then I went with Hatchet, Attack Imminent from Awaiting Evil 2008. And then, of course, Lazarus AD, Last Breath from the Onslaught 2007. And then, last but not least, I went with Killswitch Engage, The Signal Fire from Atonement 2019.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yep. Good thing. Well,
and then to me, I would have just put 12 Lazarus AD songs on here.
I know. I'm telling you. Yeah. Yeah. You really could.
Yeah. Have
But,
a good one, man. Thanks for stopping in, man.
Oh, did he have to go? Oh, yep. There you go. Cannibal Corpse starts their tour in Nashville in September. Yep. Yes, they do. I believe we talked about that on last week, I believe. Yeah.
Week before.
Yeah, week before. Oh, yeah, that's right. Not last week, week before. So the good thing is no doubles. So all 26 will be on the playlist. And like you say, we can always add more to it. So it's none of the playlists are ever set in stone. And like I say, I'll forward this over to Victor and see if he wants to add any. So leading off with Hammer Smashed Face by Cannibal Corpse off of Tomb of the Mutilated, 1992. Then I went with Find a Way or Make One by Amon Amarth off the Great Heathen Army from 2022. Then I had Dark Passenger. Dark Passenger by Channel Zero from Kill All Kings from 2014. Then I had Revolution by Lazarus AD off the Onslaught 2009. Then I had America the Brutal by 6 Feet Under off of Bringer of Blood from 2003. Then I had Toyer and their cover of Cemetery Gates from Valkyria from 2013. I'm glad you told me because I just would have said Tear.
Yeah.
But so that actually came in handy. Then I had then I went with The Eliminator by Accuser off of their self-titled album for 2020. Then I had Staring Through the Eyes of the Dead by Cannibal Corpse off the Bleeding from 1994. Then I had Let the World Burn by Violence off of the EP of the same name from 2022. Then I had Win Hands Down by Armored Saint from the album of the same name from 2015. Then I had Deal in Death by Vulture off the album of the same name album of the same name from 2021. Then I had In Thrash We Trust by Artillery from their album X, which is 10 from 2021. Then I had King's End by Exhumer off of Hostile Defiance from 2019. Then my last one was Push, Pull, Destroy by Battlecross from Pursuit of Honor from 2011.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's going to be a great.
Yeah, it'll be a good one. These record label playlists have really been good.
Mm-hmm. That's Dana.
Yeah, I'm just reading it myself. So
giving us some news there. So
yeah, keeping it close to the vest.
Yeah. Anyway, those are the playlists, and like I said, once you get that up, I'll also add those to the radio. These, if you haven't seen the scroll here, there's the now playing music there at that link in on our radio station there, and then also we do merch store open there at metalheadsuniteusa.com. So
yep.
I don't know if you looked at any of that stuff.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, actually, I bought a tank top. It's dirty. I was washing it because it had that new smell. I was like, "Oh, that's rough." But
no, okay.
I'll try to wear that next, try to show it off a little bit. But the tumbler is what I like. That little tumbler thing looks so freaking cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna order some stuff as soon as I have a little bit of a disposable income. But yeah, I take a look at the website at least once a day.
I'm not going to add anything to it for a little bit. I'm going to leave it like this, probably through the summer anyway, and then winter comes around, I'll add some stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's already a hoodie over there, so I mean, you can get a little bit of a jump start on it. So yeah, that'd be fine.
I can add beanies and all kind of stuff to it, but I'm on the way.
I'd probably definitely get one of those, especially if I can get it in that cranberry color, a red one. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure I can swing that. So.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
All right, over to album reviews.
Yes.
I only got one in this week, but there's an EP that I started listening to, and honestly don't remember the name of it. I have to go back and look. So,
Uh-oh.
let's see. Was it that one? Oh, maybe it was. No, it was one that wasn't listed as an EP, but when I looked at it, it only had 6 songs. So
Ah,
I have to go back and look at it now. I don't remember which one it was. I actually got a few checked on there. So if you hadn't listened to Butcher Babies, had a double album came out, it was pretty decent. I mean, it had those couple of songs that I didn't care for on the one album, but it is what it is.
well, I think
We're not going to bat 1,000. So.
yeah, and I think I think Butcher Babies they're starting to go through. I think they might be starting to go through a little bit of a not necessarily like an evolution,
Right.
but I think they're starting to do what we talked about. Like if you want to do a little bit of experimenting, just kind of like sprinkle it in there. So I think they may be doing a little bit of that, which is fine. It's fine.
This is the smart way to do it, though. You're doing a double album, an album
Exactly.
of the sound that everybody's used to, and then an album of kind of playing around a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So
yes, yeah, that's fine.
You're not really hurting anything, and you're not killing your fan base by
exactly.
Going all out, man. Hey, here's what you got.
Yes, you're not. Yeah, you're not alienating anybody.
Yeah, they gave their fans a choice. Like,
yes,
like whatever you want to do. So, and actually, both of them, either one of them's not bad. I mean, of course, I do one over the other, but
well, of course,
yeah, but here's what it is. But this week I chose Blackscape, "Suffocated by the Sun." This band was formed in 2018 in Sweden. They're listed as a death thrash metal band. Their current lineup is Lawrence McElroy, vocalist, Tage Anderson, guitars and bass. They got him on guitars and bass, so I'm not sure how that works. Got a bass here and a guitar.
Well, I mean, hey,
that is kind of weird. I was like, wow, okay. Then Thomas Olson on drums. So this is the band's debut album. It was 10 songs, 45 minutes, 5 seconds. It's definitely borderline death, I think, vocal wise, but I feel like it's like a borderline death metal core, I think, because it's not so deathy that you know what I'm saying. Like, it's not a normal death metal vocal. It's still kind of everything's coherent. I mean, I don't mean to talk shit, but that's the way I describe it. So, but you can make out everything, and it's still got a little darkness to the vocals, just not that deep.
Okay, all right, yeah, there you go. I get it.
Yeah, the drum is definitely outstanding. The guitars are fast and shreddy. You like that shreddy? I just made that word up.
I like it.
This is crazy because it started out like it was going to be a melodic metal album. It was crazy because like it had that normal like high pitched sound to it right in the beginning, and it lasted about 10 seconds, and it went. I was like, oh shit!
Nice.
I was like, well, all right. It threw the fuck out of me because I was about to be like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this, but then like it was really really cool that they did that because, like I said, it lasted about 10 seconds and then went straight into some kind of thrashy guitar riff. So I was like, oh okay, trying to throw me off here, buddy. But vocally reminds me a lot of Creator, I guess. If I had to like put a band to similar to it, maybe.
Nice, I'm in.
There's a track on there, Enslaved. It started out like it was going to be slow, and like they were going to slow things down a little bit, but nope. And kind of blew up like a firecracker in your hand, Well, July 4th. The chorus did display some clean vocals, which I liked. The arrangement was well done. I think it was kind of like it flowed really well. That song did. The way they kind of started it kind of like a white Chapel Hickory Creek type.
I gotcha.
And it kind of hit that peak, and then it slowed back down. it's really really good. I liked it. So the there was a track too called First in Line. It just played some really good guitar playing. It's almost like having a solo in the beginning of the track. It's quite crazy. I was like, are they going to sing? And then you kicked in with the singing. I was like, oh wow, okay. It's like having a solo, like probably like a 45-second, 50-second solo right in the beginning. I was
Oh,
like, wow,
nice. Yeah.
it was really cool. I do like the way they switched up the arrangements on their songs. Though. It was really cool. It was different. Like I think that's what kind of like caught me because it was so different than what we normally like listen to. So, which is cool. I mean, you got to do something different to get noticed now. So
That is very true.
and then they tacked on like a 5-minute, 45-second instrumental onto the end of it. It's a bonus track, which I had no issues with at all because, like I said, 5 minutes, 45 seconds is an instrumental. So,
Right. Yeah. See, that's fine. That's
and
fine.
it was a bonus track. So,
That's totally fine.
yeah. So, all in all, really good debut, man. I'm gonna give it 4 horns. So.
Nice. Very nice. Which is cool because we've had a really nice run of 4-horn albums here lately, which I can definitely get behind.
Which is going to be a issue coming into the year.
It's going to be an issue in December, yeah. But I mean, it'll be one of those things where you just could have never have too much of a good thing, especially when it comes to heavy metal albums to listen to. So, spoiler alert, I'm gonna keep the streak going. My album this week was Withering Scorn and their album Prophets of Demise. They are a heavy metal band formed in Canada in 2020. This is also their debut album, and there will be some names you recognize on this lineup. Leading off with Joe DiBiase, not that DiBiase, on bass.
Maybe not a man.
Not that DiBiase, yeah. Sean Drover on drums, Glenn Drover on guitars, and Henning Basse on vocals. So that kind of surprised me. I did not realize this was their new project until I got into it. Yeah, the Drover brothers. 8 songs, 40 minutes and 22 seconds. This one is pretty much a straight-laced traditional heavy metal band from the word go. There are obviously, with the Drover brothers being involved, I mean, you have little tastes of you've got some thrash in there, you've got a little bit of power metal in there, a little bit of melodic stuff in there, but by and large it's just straightforward traditional heavy metal. There's one song where it's got a little bit of a Painkiller start to it. There's another song where it's got a little bit of a Raining Blood kind of like ominous opening riff, to it. Obviously, before the actual, it doesn't have any of that, but just basically like, the lead in to that. So, there's all sorts of callbacks to different influences that the Drovers have had over the years. So you've got Slayer, you got Priest, you can definitely hear the Megadeth influence in there. Maiden is in there. I would even say they sprinkled in a little bit of like Primal Fear power metal. So I mean. My only knock on this album is they fucked over the vocalist on this one because he is so tuned down. It's criminal. And this guy's got a hell of a voice. He can do straight clean singing. He can kind of do some not quite Halford Ripper, high end, some of those howls. He can get up there, but he can't touch that highest level that they can.
Can't get to that register, I guess.
Right. So he's got some pipes, but so like I say, there's a little bit of that in there. And then he even throws in some growls every now and then, not like full on guttural, not full on metalcore, but a little bit more of the raspy or aggressive vocals in there. So it's not just, so he gives you a little bit of everything, which is nice. But I mean, the guitars are fantastic. The drumming is excellent. You can expect from Sean and Glenn Drover, so yeah, this one is an easy 4-horn out of 5. Like I say, they should have done better on the vocal mix because I mean, from what you can hear him and you can hear what he's doing, but it's a definite distraction. You can tell how detuned they have him in relation to the music, and I think it's kind of a shame. So I don't know if that's something that they may be able to address, if they even give a shit to address it. I think they should. Because it would sound better if everything was more balanced. Because I like as soon as he started singing on the very first track, I was like, oh, that's a shame. I just noticed that right away. It stuck out like a sore thumb how detuned he was. So, but yeah, this is if you just want to listen to just a solid heavy metal album, like I say, there are like little sprinklings of other subgenres in there, but this one's pretty much just straightforward traditional heavy metal. So if you're just in the mood for that, you got 40 minutes, highly recommend it.
We were all talking about all this stuff, and I never shared the playlist from this week.
Oh, for shame, sir.
I know. Well, there it is. So that's
there you go.
The weekly Spotify playlist there. So,
yep. Speaking of which,
I want to say if I had that, Withering Scorn is actually the third song on the list. So,
speaking of playlist, I just sent you the playlist.
well, hopefully I get it. So
I sent a little tag on it that said "first try this time?" ? Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. Can't ever tell. I don't know what's going on with all that. So
yeah, I don't know. It's fucking weird. So
what do we got to look forward to next week?
Yeah, coming up for July 14th, 2023, leading off with Etherian with At Storm's Edge, Among Ruins with Land of the Black Sun, Ascendancy with A Manifest of Imperious Destiny, that is an EP, Ascend the Helix with Spiral of Reflection. Then we have 4 re-releases from Atheist. We have Elements, Jupiter, Piece of Time, and Unquestionable Presence. Then we have Aura Layer with Thousand Petals, Baited with Cutting Teeth, that's an EP. Then we have Blowdove with 3 re-releases, 2, 3, and a self-titled re-release. We have Bray Road with Focused, Fierce, Relentless. The Burning Paris with Everything is Broken and I Don't Feel a Thing. We have Buzzed and Loaded with Fast Cars and Dive Bars. We have Caligram with Position, Momentum. We have Cavalera with Morbid Visions. So there you go, Cavalera fans.
Yeah.
Cavern Deep with Part 2, Breach. We have Cell Damage with No Volume. Chamber with A Love to Kill For. Chris Manning with Reach the Sky. Constant Hell with a self-titled album. Crown Magnetar with Everything Bleeds. Cutthroat with Fear by Design. A Dark Halo with Omnibus 1. Decayed with From Hell. Dietus with Irreversible. Deny the Fallen with Echo Chamber. Desecryptor with Vortex Oblivion. We have Jin Ghoul with Opulence. Eaten by Sharks with Eradication. That's a re-release. Eden Fall with To Gaze Longer at the Earth. Edge of Paradise with Hologram. End Rain with The Way of All Flesh is Decay. We have E-Line with We Shall Remain. We have Evile with The Unknown. Probably have to check that one out at some point. Yeah. We have Exsanguination with Burial Rites. We have Freedom Call with The Metal Fest. Houston with Relaunch 3. Inhumed with Feasted Upon Like Carrion. That's an EP. We have Izrod with Sarayevsky Odyssey. There's a lot of Lanzerath, Mood Ring with Your Light Fades Away. That's an EP. The Neil Morse Band with An Evening of Innocence and Danger, live in Hamburg. Nuclear Remains with Dawn of Endless Suffering. The Parallax Method with Folie à Toi. The Pit with Of Madness and Evil Whispers. Progenitor with Eldritch Supremacy. Project Renegade with Ultra Terra. Pertinence with The Rot Within Us. Quiet Man with The Starving Man. Radiant Knife with Pressure. Ring Van Mobius with Commission Works Part 2, 6 Drops of Poison. We have Robledo with Broken Soul. Scream Maker with Land of Fire. Sludge Keeper with Slough of Despair. Somniate with We Have Proved Death. Sutek, Hexen, and Funerary Call with Prism. Tail Gunner with Guns for Hire. Thomas Carlson's Transmission with A Brave Horizon. Valletta with Come Alive. Varhara with Void Flower. Various artists, Super Unknown Redux. Vendetta with Black as Coal. Volus with Oathsworn Vengeance. Voyeur with Fearless in Love. We have White. It's probably Vite. I don't know. It might be. it might be German. I don't know. Assemblage, Winter Storm with Everfrost, and Witch Snake with a self-titled album. So that's the list of new releases for this Friday coming up July 14th.
Cool.
Over at heavymusichq.com.
That's right. I wanted to show everybody these because I haven't put them up there in a while, but these are our guitar picks that we have made.
Those are cool as hell.
And then I'm going to take, I also have some 4-inch round stickers over there too. So these aren't on that website, but they will be on our Facebook. If you want to hit us up on there, we can get those out to you.
Yes, sir.
And also, if you see them, if you're looking at watching us, there's the Metalheads shirt on the wall back there. Is our World Tour 2022 shirt.
Wait, which way am I pointing? There we go. Right.
There you go. Yeah, we
God,
also
you were so much better at this than I was. There you go, right there.
we also have those available only over there. So I wasn't able to put those on the website that they have over at the store. So, but yeah, so those are available if you want to pick those up. I think we can do the shirts for like 20.
Mm-hmm.
We can do a deal on the other things. I think I had a package deal with the sticker and the guitar pick for $5, and then they were $3 each if you wanted it separate. So there you go. So if you want some merch and help us out a little bit, grease our palms a little bit, so pay for all these soundboards I'm buying. I'm just kidding.
Right.
That's actually something that I've been wanting to do for a while. I didn't want to spend that much on a Roadcaster and not, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to get a little one at first to try to figure it all out first before I spent.
That makes total sense.
Yeah, before I spent big money on something. So.
Oh God, yeah.
And it seems to work fine. I mean, so whatever. So,
yeah, got sound effects and all that good shit. So yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm crisper too with this stuff. So I don't know why, but to me, because I can hear myself too. So
yeah,
I felt like I sound a little better.
Well, I mean, that definitely helps.
Well, yeah. But it's for some reason it still didn't take the cornbread. I don't know why the fuck. Oh, man. So delayed.
I love it.
Stop it.
I like it.
Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I know we had a little fun with everything, but we'll definitely keep that going. So we'll have a little bit more fun on here. But so we're just not sticks in the mud most of the time. Well, I mean, we me and you always have fun on here, but
oh yeah, we always have fun. I look forward to this shit every week.
Oh yeah, it's like most people sit in their corner and read a book. This is kind of what we do instead of that. So
hell yeah,
because for one, I can't read. But, which is a lie because I've been reading notes all
well, of course, yeah, of course.
But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it. If you haven't, go back and check. You can actually get on Spotify now and listen to the interview with Matt Caldwell as well if you didn't get to watch it. So if you just want to listen, throw it on Spotify in your car and listen to it. You can do that as well. Very intelligent guy.
Yeah, man, he really was.
But one of those classical music learners, so you already know he's going to be well above my intellect. So
yep. Yeah. Well, I mean, and he had interesting perspectives on.
Well, yeah, because we kind of went off the rail a little bit here.
We did. Yeah, we did.
Which it was just kind of. We tried to keep the music in the topic. Don't get me wrong, but we did kind of sway a little bit. But it's all good. He didn't have a problem with it, so it's actually wound up being like 2.5 hours, I think. So
yeah.
So it's a really good interview. So
yeah.
Have fun with that. So
I love it. You guys are so great.
We know. Anyway, want to thank you guys for stopping in, and then hopefully we will see you back here next week. And until then, keep those horns held high. Jump in that pit anytime you can.
Thank you guys. Have a great week.